Hello, hello, hello. Running just a little behind, but I should be good to go here. How's everyone doing? There's a lot of you in here already. That's awesome. Spaz, Decoy, Michael, Playtest, Maddie. Great to see you all. Yeah, how are you all doing tonight? I'll be honest, I'm tired. I have been doing a lot of exciting things. It's all good things. It's just been a very hectic, very busy day. Lots of cloven lands, lots of kings of tyranny. You will see quite a bit of both of those in the next few weeks here, which is very exciting, but I am tired. What's up, Christian? Thanks for joining us. Good to see all of you. All right, tonight we are going to design the next legacy artifact for Veil of the Eternal Night. To the internet at large, I know all of you here know this, but to the internet at large, Veil of the Eternal Night is a vampire, grimdark, gothic tabletop role-playing game campaign that we are releasing for both MythCraft and for Dungeons and Dragons. So, super excited for everything that we've unlocked. It's still going on Kickstarter for just a few more days, just under a week, for a few more stretch goals. So, if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. TheEternalNight.com is the best place to find that. So, yeah, see everything that we've got on offer there. I'm really excited to bring this campaign to all of you. Welcome, Anderson, Draven, Solo, Melissa, Kyle. Good to see all of you. Thank you for joining. All right, so this is my outline board that I've used for Veil of the Eternal Night stuff. We did some work on the vampire class. We did some work on the lycanthrope class. Those are recorded, so you can go back on this channel and see the rest of them. Might be over there, I don't know. The side with the videos. We worked on the Sovereign's Orb a while back, which is another legacy item. Legacy items are fun additions to Veil of the Eternal Night, to MythCraft, to D&D. They're items that you can level up with you periodically over the course of your campaign. So the intent is that you gain your item gains a level, so to speak, every 3 times you gain a level. So if you get an item at level 1, you would upgrade your item at levels 4, 7, 10, 13, etc. So that's an example of what the Sovereign's Orb might be. That means that in MythCraft, because we go from level 1 to 30, there's a chance that you could have, I believe, 9 upgrades to a magic item. And in D&D, it is going to be a little bit less because, it's only levels 1 to 20. But the mechanics are going to be slightly different between the two systems, obviously, given that they use different rules. That's Solo, that's a great question. What is the essence cost going to be for these items? I'll be honest, I haven't put any thought into that. I can't remember if Blessed Wind has an essence cost associated with it in the demo, because that would be a good frame of reference. I imagine they'd have a... Well, see, I was wondering if they would scale or not. I think what it would be is that the essence cost would just start out disproportionately high for what you're getting, but then by the end, after you've gotten all of your upgrades, the essence cost is still the same. It's just disproportionately low. But I don't actually know. It may have to grow with your the amount of talents that you've taken. Yeah, I'm curious. I don't remember if we did that with the Veil demo. Let me find it real quick. Here we go. Yeah, it doesn't look like we gave it an essence cost at all. So yeah, that's something we'll think about as we're designing these. Um, so so the Sovereign's Orb is an example of one that you could gain potentially at level 1 that you'll carry with you throughout the entire journey. By contrast, the one we're going to do tonight, well, let's find out which one we're going to do tonight. There were 4 potential artifacts that I put up for a vote, and all of you in Discord voted among these 4 items. So these items were Azrael's Feather. Azrael is an angel, a kind of like fallen angel archetype from our campaign. There's art of him in the Kickstarter somewhere. And so a feather from one of Azrael's wings would give you, flying powers. Wait, did I just pass him? I don't know where the art of him went. Anyway, a feather from his wing would give you flying powers. It would give you radiant powers, maybe healing powers, maybe damage powers, but like cleric-y, kind of aggro cleric-y powers. And wings, of course, because it's like a magic feather. There was the Shadowcroft Grimoire. This is a tome of ancient secrets, maybe written by Morgana, maybe just owned by Morgana, but related to Shadowcroft and related to all of the monsters that you might find in Shadowcroft. There's the Timekeeper's Lance, which is, like those giant clock towers. Like, I know Big Ben is just the bell, if I'm remembering that correctly. But the tower, there's like the giant minute hand. So imagine taking a minute hand and turning it into a lance and using that as your weapon. But it also has like chronomancy abilities, slowing down your enemies, speeding up yourself and your allies, like those kinds of abilities. And the last one that I put up for a vote was the Flesh Stitcher's Manual, written by Dr. Frankenstein and possibly by Professor Victor Shelley as well, another MythCraft NPC. This manual would give you the tips and tricks and instructions that you would need to create your own golems. One of the things that we would need to tease out is like whether these are full-on like golems, as in you open the core rulebook and you see, oh, I can be a golem, or if they're something a little bit different. I think they'd be something a little bit different, but we'll get there in a second. As for which one won, the Flesh Stitcher's Manual came in a handy first place with 88 votes, followed by the other book, the Shadowcroft Grimoire, at 54, the Timekeeper's Lance at 38, and Azrael's Feather at 24. So, Flesh Stitcher's Manual it is. Yeah, there was a lot of hype over that. And I can't remember who it was in Discord. Someone asked me what my preference would have been. It might have been Doodly. I know you're in here now. It might have been Java. I haven't seen Java pop in, but whoever it was, I'll answer that now. Now that the vote has been cast and the decision is official. My preference was also the Flesh Stitcher's Manual, so I'm really excited to dig into this. My second preference would have been the Timekeeper's Lance. I think that the Shadowcroft Grimoire is really cool, but just the idea of like a giant minute hand lance with like time abilities, I just thought that sounded really fun. But yeah, my preference is actually the one that won, so again, super excited to dive in. Let's clear out the text here and change its color to look more fleshy, because color coding stuff helps my like creative process. I'm not sure how much it actually really helps, but it's what I do and it keeps me like in my groove. So we're gonna go with that. Yeah, yeah. I forgot about the Evil Dead book, but yeah, it could have some similarities there. All right, let's find a nice fleshy color. No, that's the vampire color. There we go. I like that. Um, let's see. All right, so the again, I'm gonna pop over to the Sovereign's Orb for a quick example. I my formula with Blessed Wind, and then it worked quite well, although it manifested very differently with the Sovereign's Orb as well, is coming in with the intention to make four different like class tracks. They're obviously not, it's not a class, it's a magic item, but think about them in those terms. And obviously they're a lot smaller because you only get them once every 3 levels. But I'm gonna do the same thing with the Flesh Stitcher's manual here. So the plan is going to be 4 different tracks that you can improve that focus on different areas or different things you might do with a Flesh Stitcher manual, and we'll do some googling. We'll get into what that might be in a minute. Um, I the challenge with this one is that I don't I don't intend for it to be available to people at level 1. So I'm trying to think through the best way to design it and keep it like on like the same power level as the Sovereign's Orb, as Blessed Wind, and I was thinking about that over the course of the day. I was thinking about different ways that I could make sure that the balance level is the same, and I think what I've landed on is building it as though you could get it at level 1. Um, if someone wants to homebrew their own world or wants to play a different like gothic horror campaign that uses some of the same elements of Veil of the Eternal Night, then building the Flesh Stitcher's manual in exactly the same way allows for that. It allows them to take that at level 1. And then I might make within like the actual official Veil campaign, whether it's book 1 or book 2, when you get this, I might just have an aside that says this item is unique in that when you get it, you get to backfill your levels. So if you get it at level 15, you get like a certain number of abilities automatically. So not sure exactly how that'll play out when you pick it up in a world, but I think I've settled on making it as though you could get it at level 1. Slowblind Child, thank you so much for picking up physical books. That's amazing. I'm really glad that you found MythCraft and that you're excited for this system. Really glad to have you. Um, want to make a plague doctor who used the gold to get rid of failed experiments. Oh no. Hello, welcome Doomprune. Alright, let me just get these tracks set up. So, definitely, one of the main tracks is going to be improving your golem. And getting a golem is going to be like the base thing that you just get. It's what the Flesh manual does. It helps you do that. There may be a track that like lets you heal or treat maladies, like some plague doctor kind of abilities, right? Because like it's a manual all about how to deal with dead and decaying flesh, and so maybe through learning that you also learn how to heal it. Maybe, but we're gonna see if some other like there's already especially in D&D, there's already a lot of healing options. In MythCraft, there's a pretty good like repertoire of healing options as well: cleric, zealot, divine magic. So and the sovereign's orb and other magic items do that too. So this one might have some healing. It may just focus on animating a dead thing and building out and improving your dead thing in different ways. That would be really cool, Solo Wolf. I'm not sure exactly how to connect the dots there. I mean, certainly if you have both the manual and you're a witch, you can do some fun flavoring there. I've done this on other design streams, and Grant has as well, so I imagine most of you like know the drill by now. But if you offer a suggestion, understand that I may use it. So if it's something that you want to develop yourself and that you want to work on your own like homebrew thing, please don't say it in chat here. Talk to me about it in Discord afterwards. I'd love to hear about it, but if I see it in chat, I may just take it and use it. Conversely, if you put it in chat, understand I may see it and decide that doesn't really fit, and I may ignore it, or think like, it's a cool item, it just doesn't fit what I'm going for here. So, for example, would you be able to build more than one golem at a time? I don't think so. My the obvious like inspiration for this item is Frankenstein and his monster, and so I really like the aesthetic decision of only being able to focus on one creature at a time. That said, I was thinking about the possibility of creating a horde of smaller creatures. Possible. I don't want to stray too far into what the Hellcrafter is supposed to do, or what like any necromancer kind of builds or summoner builds that we work on are supposed to do. So I think it's going to focus just on one. Oops. Crabtree, I love that idea. Some kind of like electric protective skin. That's very Frankensteinian. The gift of life, the Promethean. That's what it's called, right? Frankenstein subtitle, or the modern Prometheus, right? It's bringing life to something. Yeah, that's a really cool idea. Let's see. It's been a while since I've read Frankenstein, but I want to see if I can find okay. The monster is a combination of dead human parts and live animal parts. What makes the creature singular in appearance? Singular as in unique, not as in looks like he was made out of one thing. Okay, mostly human. I thought it would be cool, and it's our own world, so we can certainly do this. But I think it would be cool if you're able to find animal body parts and incorporate it into your golem. So if you give it like if you come across the corpse of a wolf and you give it the wolf's nose or ears, then it gets like the bonus to perceiving checks because of that. So that's an idea for a track. Let's see, animal improvements, humanoid improvements, Promethean spark. See what we can do with lightning. And I'll rename that with a deity or deific figure that's more correct to MythCraft lore than Prometheus, but for now, it's a drafting process. Harvest parts of monsters. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, you start out able to incorporate like a wolf or a leopard into it, and then by the end of it, maybe you can, I don't know, incorporate a what's a good Mythcraft monster? A stone shark into it or something like that. Really, the lightning is a Hollywood invention? They did such a good job then. I could have sworn that was in the book. That's fascinating. I've read the book twice. It's been years, but wow. That's like what's that? The Mandela effect. Like like false memory, thinking that Berenstein Bears is spelled either with E I or A I, whichever one it is, whichever one it isn't. Nice, Pixel Guys. That's awesome. I did some college reports on Frankenstein's monster. It is a really, really good book. I've always enjoyed it. I mean, the two times that I've read it, I've really enjoyed it. And I think it's still like deeply rich and relevant in themes, and the storytelling is well done. Um, anyway, I think Mary Shelley did very well, but we're not here to deconstruct her book. We're here to create our own monsters. Um, okay, we've got a couple tracks for improvements. A track for like something to do with um lightning animation. Even if it's not in the original book, it's still like it's part of the mythos at this point. Um, Maybe something healing related. Maybe something where the golem can gain abilities of the creatures that it eats, or the flesh that it eats. Um, hmm. TBD. We'll just leave that one blank for now. Okay, so at when you gain this book, you're going to gain the ability to create a golem. The golem is going to have I think it's going to be I think it's going to be like one of those templates that you can get with different classes where yeah, fifth edition has done this a fair amount. Like the Steel Defender, the Artificer, has HP that's like 5 times your level or something like that. So maybe it has stats based on your level. Maybe. Otherwise, maybe it is or its stats are just one of the following. And then we'll give it like a list of options for you to pick from when you're making your golem. I'm clearly firing on all cylinders tonight. It could be a zombie, etc. um, there are other good monsters, I'm sure, that'll work. I don't have my creature compendium handy. Yeah, something like hit points equal to hit points or stats equal to your level. Maybe equal to its essence. Yeah. Whoops. Let's see, other parameters. This golem. I know this is antithetical to the purpose of Mary Shelley's novel, but this golem is going to be friendly to you and follow your spoken commands to the best of its ability. Yeah, Zesty McTrashbin. I think that's kind of the direction that I'm going with it. So again, very specific stats like that, that's something that I'll hash out on the other end. For the purpose of this stream, I just want to get the whole thing kind of outlined and get a really good grasp on what you can get from reading this Flesh Stitcher's manual. Can create a golem. This takes X hours and Y resources. Mainly corpses. Golem is friendly to you and follows your spoken commands. What size is it? Again, something very specific. I'll like, I think large, right? That makes sense. But final decisions like that will be made at a later point. Probably large. Maybe you can pick. That could actually be a really fun modification of some kind. Size modification. Teeny tiny little golem. Or a gargantuan golem. You just ride up on like a golem dragon. I think I'm going to say it's got to be humanoid. Like, we're going to keep with the 2 arms, 2 legs idea, but you can still improve upon it by taking, like, animal kind of stuff. Sacrifice one. That's a cool idea, yeah. Yeah, I think that last track is going to be something to do with healing. And it's going to be primarily healing the golem. Potentially also healing, like, other people. Potentially healing the creator, but primarily healing the golem. Yeah, Slow Blind Child, it's just that, like, there's the potential that Tiny could be really beneficial in some cases, so, yeah, not exactly sure at this point. Okay, let's see. It's friendly to you, and it follows your spoken commands to the best of its ability. What other personality traits, I guess, about the goblin? Let's see. You can make one at a time. So it can die, but you can sew it back up. It doesn't retain memories after it is reanimated. Yeah, if you create another one, it would just fall to pieces. What other kind of specifications do we need with these things? It acts on its own initiative. Sees you and your allies as allies. And sees your enemies as its enemies. And can you see through its senses? No, I don't think you can. It's not a familiar, like a witch familiar. Potentially an upgrade from one of these tracks, maybe. But no, I don't think you can share its senses. Um, its stats, again, that's probably something I'll do later, but good physical stats, not as good mental stats. All right, I have some specific ideas for humanoid improvements, so I'm actually going to start there. Can it have a familiar? Ooh. The Promethean spark is both the lightning and the healing. Just had an idea. We'll come back to that. All right, humanoid improvements. I'm thinking part of the fun of creating this creature, because it's not strictly a golem the way you would read about a golem in the player's handbook. I think part of the fun of creating this is that it's kind of like you're getting to design another character, right? You get to choose what abilities it has, what it's good at, what it's bad at, which sounds kind of like what we do when we make player characters. So my thought for humanoid improvements is you just give your golem one of the features from chapter 1 of the core rulebook, and the number of options that opens up, because you've got a whole I was thinking, how can I make a whole booklet of options for you to upgrade this creature, a whole manual of pages to flip through as you're trying to figure out how to upgrade this creature. Why not just use the one that we wrote, right? So you can give it any of its any humanoid abilities that or any humanoid lineage features that don't require prerequisites. And this is repeatable. Let me make a note of that. So, in a way, that's all that we need for that track. That's already tons and tons and tons of options. That's endless, like, customization for basically a secondary PC. Now, I do want to be sure, and I think this basically just comes down to statting it out, but I want to be sure that it doesn't fully become a second PC, because for one player to get two PCs can, some tables are fine with that. Some tables that can feel weird. So part of what will prevent that is the fact that this guy can only get something every 3 levels. That'll help a lot. Character progression is going to be a lot slower. But another big part of it is just going to be when we design its stats. Like, it's already going to have its physical and mental attributes kind of set. And you're probably not going to get much control over that as a creator of a golem here. Yeah, exactly. Slow blind. That's exactly like what I'm thinking with kind of the visual. I have a couple old books back from D&D 3.5 that have no stats in them. I think they were published by TSR, but they weren't, or they were published in affiliation with TSR, but they weren't like official D&D books. But they had diagrams of all of the different D&D dragons, and it was written from the perspective of a character in the world. I believe, in the world in the Dragonlance setting. So it had like, I mean, the same way the fifth edition books have like little quotes from Xanathar and stuff. It had that throughout it, but it was like the entire thing was written from the perspective of one of those characters, from the perspective of a Kinder, which are like halflings, who just loved dragons and was really curious about dragons, and so went around and like sketched them all. So, yeah, really similar aesthetic, creepier aesthetic with the Flesh manual, right? But it's that kind of idea. Good point, Jet. I like that a lot. A practical guide to dragons. That's what it was called. Yeah, there it is. And dragon writing, I had that one too. It's fun. Memory lane. And so then the obvious like improvement is it is able to dip into some of those prerequisites, those lineage features. Now, overall, the Blessed Wind and Sovereign's Orb, they each have a similar number of talents. So this one has 19. I think Blessed Wind has around that. Um, so we'll probably shoot for 15 with the Flesh Golems manual, just because, or with the Flesh Stitchers manual, just because semblance of humanity already opens up so many possibilities. Um, I'm gonna need to open my creature compendium. Give me a second here. That's my note paint app. Get my creature compendium. I want to see what kind of features all of the different beasts in the compendium get. See if there's anything really crazy. Right, okay. I didn't intend to open straight to the cocaine bear. But, I asked, do any of the beasts have crazy abilities? And this was my answer. Okay, let's see what kind of parameters we might come up with. Dire Frog, Leap, Swallow. Yeah, the monster traits, that could be good. Bear features keen nose, that's fine. Keen nose, addict, feast on fear. Keen nose, keen nose, keen nose, thick coat. That one's fine. Dire chicken flutter. Ooh, that's a problem. The death burst. I mean, maybe it's not a problem, right? Like, all good, Jessica. I mean, that's the whole idea that I'm going for. Obviously, is like is it possible for me to write an ability like I just did for humanoids, where your golem, your flesh creature, can gain a feature from a beast in the creature compendium. So I want to check and see if that's feasible. Death Burst is the first one that makes me think that's probably not feasible, but at the same time, if your creature dies and you've got to completely recreate it, I don't know, maybe it's okay. Maybe. But also, the Dire Chicken is an abominable beast, so maybe that's a tag that we can make off limits. What is the cocaine? Cocaine Bear is also abominable, so maybe just abominable beasts might be off the table. That could be a good way to do it. Things like Dive Bomb and like the Dire Frog's Swallow ability, those refer to specific attacks. So we could have the stipulation that says you can't gain an ability that requires an attack that you don't have. What is the Vulture? Death Sense. Oh man. Those would both be really cool on the flesh stitcher creature. Yeah, I think this can work. I think this can work really well. All of these abilities are reasonable with the exception of a couple special attacks. Ambush Predator. And Natural Disguise. You sit on a log, but it's actually Frankenstein's monster. That's terrifying. Beast of Burden makes sense. Prehensile Trunk. Honestly, that's fine. Frankenstein's monster with a giant elephant trunk is something. Yeah, that's true. I think I'm gonna rule out abominable creatures, so you can't get any of the Cocaine Bear's crazy abilities. Feeding Frenzy is kind of powerful. I could say just mammals, but there's so many cool things if we open it up to other creatures. I th- right, you can go into Cocaine Bear abilities as a capstone. Pack Tactics is pretty strong. That might be the other exception. Okay, let's see. Repeatable. Choose a feature that a beast in the creature compendium. If the beast cannot have any other tags, you cannot choose a can't choose a feature that's dependent upon a natural weapon or an attack. Again, this can all be, the wording of this can be tightened up a little bit down the road. your golem so cannot be pack tactics. To give it this benefit, you must have a corpse of the appropriate beast's type. That's not quite the right wording, but it's enough to convey the meaning so that I can go back and tighten it up when I actually like type it out. Yeah, exactly. So undead is a lineage in MythCraft that would allow you to gain undead features through semblance of humanity. Upgrade for this. Upgrade might be, you can choose pack tactics. You can also learn features from creatures with the beast tag in any chapter of the creature compendium. Oh, of course. You can gain their natural weapons. Thank you, Anderson. Absolutely. Now, this is difficult because this is very, like, MythCrafty. I'd have to go through and check all of the monster manual as well and just be sure that it works with that. But, again, right now we're focused on MythCraft. I'll figure out if this same track will work. I think it will in D&D, or if I'll need to do some kind of slightly different track that achieves the same, like, idea. Dragonlance is a very fun setting, I agree. I did not get to play in it as much as I would have liked to. Nice. Yeah, okay, and again, Anderson, you're exactly right on this third talent. So, what is that? And that's perfect, because you can take Bestial Body, then you can take Bestial Body 2, then you can take Bestial Body 1 again, and then you can gain those features, like the Lion's Pounce, or even the Dire Frog's Tongue. Slowblind, I think I would do that. That's like the right kind of like reasoning that's the same kind of reasoning I often bring to like class designs here. Given that it's a magic item instead of like a whole class, like this isn't the mutant class or the abomination class. It's just a magic item. And so while like I agree with that like idea, that trajectory, I think that's a little bit too much for this magic item because we've got a couple other like areas that we need to focus on too. Awesome. I really like that. So, that is that's two of our tracks already. I felt like that was fast, but that was almost an hour, so that pun intended, that tracks. Um, I'm sorry. I know I just lost us a bunch of subscribers. All right, we've got animal improvements, we've got humanoid improvements, and again, these tracks are very small because they're actually deceptively large. They just have a couple different options that open the floodgates for a bunch of different combinations you can figure out. Um, Promethean Spark, I'll get to in a minute. That's actually going to be our biggest, most unique one. Talented Golem. You can sense the trend here. No, there's nothing else there. That's it. um, and I think that's really fun. I think that being able to, I think between these three tracks, you've got a lot of really fun like customization options for your golem. Um, what's really cool about it is it's it's your character in the world creating another in-world character in much the same way that that you as a player create your own character. Um, so there's a lot of options there contained within just a few different selections, which also works really well if this is a late game item that you find later on. You'll still be able to have some fun with it and get to like there's not like end tracks to get to as much, except for this last one that we'll do in a minute. Could gain an intelligence or awareness score equal to yeah, that kind of stuff we'll figure out based on your level. Maybe that's I mean, this ended up being just one talent, so I've done 3/4 of the tracks here in half the time. So we may go up and actually build out the stats a little bit too. We may come up with a fifth track. Not quite sure yet, but we'll have some time to play around. Let's see, Promethean Spark. Yeah, skill ranks. I went fuzzy there. The talent specialization talents that you can pick up include skill specialization talents that would allow you to gain skills. So, okay, Promethean Spark. This is going to have some lightning attack abilities. It's going to have some healing abilities. Let's start with something kind of basic. Lightning affinity. Yeah, so we're going to start with giving him affinity, and off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly what that does. So let me... that's unintended playtest. If there's a creature, or what is it? Playtest till it breaks is David 1. Lotimus is OG David. So David 1, I don't intend for it to be able to gain magic through that. If there are creatures that can, then I'll need to tap down on that. But I can just say these features can't give it magic. Hello, Mr. Jakui. Thanks for joining us. Promethean Spark. Your golem has affinity. That's what I was doing. I was looking up what affinity does, because I don't remember. I know it's good. Here we go. You take half of a type of damage, and you deal +3 damage whenever you deal damage of that type. Perfect. Where'd I go? That's not enough for one talent, especially when you get it once every 3 levels. So but that's really strong. There we go. So start that lightning power here. Now, where do we go from here? Your golem is immune to lightning. If it would take lightning damage, it still gains its other bonus. And it gains... I'm with you, Anderson. Perfect. And then Lightning Affinity 3, seeing where this is going. This is like taking shape. I'm still blurry. What is with that? Focus on me. Weird. I don't know why my camera's not in focus. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to work up to... Ooh, haste is really good too. Lots of good options here. Let me get Lightning Affinity 3 real quick. Shield HP that it gains from lightning is just normal HP. Okay. The thing about lightning is the most beautiful, like, iconic lightning strikes fork. So I think this has to be a split track. It just makes sense. When the golem regains HP, you gain shield HP equal to that amount. So now it's like starting to go out and heal you too. It's becoming more tanky, more supporty. We'll call that Spark of Life. I really like that because it feels awesome enough that I could see someone choosing to invest 3 talents to get there instead of investing 3 talents just to, like, get Eagle Claws and be able to do, like, the flyby attack with, like, the eagle. So they're 2 very different golems that are both really awesome. I'm really happy with that, like, that breakdown. Okay, and then so we've got shield HP that it gains is just normal HP, and then it links and heals you as well. Then on the other side, we've got when it gains shield HP. So like you said, slow blind, this is speeding it up. And then, additionally, let's see. I'm debating the, I think I'm in focus again. Good. I'm debating the idea of the lightning crackling along its skin, and when someone hits it with a melee attack, the lightning strikes out. That's a really cool idea. I want to use it. What I'm struggling with is it feels more defensive, so it might go in the Spark of Life category instead of in the Spark of Wrath ability. That's awesome. Long time ago, this was actually before I got into podcasting. This was my first foray into podcasting. I was like, I knew that I wanted to start, and I was trying to figure out how to. I played a I ran some of my friends through a dungeon, not a one shot, but like a short contained adventure that I called Dracula's Banquet, and they had to go through this castle in order to find the different like secrets to defeating Dracula. Obviously, a lot of this has come full circle, and now I'm just turning it into a massive campaign module, right? But one of the mini bosses they had to fight to find one of the secrets was Frankenstein's monster, which we were playing 5th edition, so it was a flesh golem, because of course. Also in the room was a living lightning bolt from the Eberron Rising from the Last War book. And so the living lightning bolt would zap them, and it would just do like a line attack to hit one or two of them, but also hit Frankenstein's monster. Being a flesh golem, the lightning just healed it, and so it was a really fun, really difficult combat for them. There was also a pool of water that Frankenstein's monster had come out of, and so he would grab them and throw them into the pool of water so that the lightning bolt would go over it and electrocute the whole pool. So had a lot of like the deck was stacked against them in that room for sure. Crabtree defensive, yeah, I agree. So Spark of Wrath is going to be additionally. Wait, what? Yeah. Just check. Since I've got the wiki pulled up here, let's just take a look at primal spells. Lightning Lash. Perfect. So now the golem is just turned into a turret, and it can just blast out lightning as a chant. So that's fun. Spark of Life 2. Okay, so now it's got that aura, and it can do damage. I'm struggling with knowing how much to give out in a single in a single talent. I think that we're going to need a little playtesting to determine that. I'm going to err on a little more, and then I'll pare it back a little bit if I need to. Ooh, I just had some fun ideas for Spark of Life 3. Let's go ahead and do that before I forget here. This is going to be kind of like your capstone ability, right? It's a 5 talent investment, as opposed to some of these other combinations that you can get in fewer investments. Let's see. Spark of Life 3. When your golem is doodly yet. When your golem is bloodied, it gains regen 1d4. So, yeah, so that's terrifying. It loses this ability if reduced to 0 hit points. And a couple other things here, because it's capstone-y. I'm going to get a little long-winded with it. Loses this ability when it's reduced to 0 hit points, but it costs less time and money to bring back, and remembers its so it has an ongoing personality at this point, which is fun. I imagine a lot of DMs, MCs, GMs are going to give it like some kind of personality to mess with their players. Gideon from the Homebrew. And it's going to change personalities radically each time it resurrects. That's something I would do. I think that would be really fun. Alright, and there was one other thing I want to give it. And so it can, like, briefly heal people mid-combat. I think we're good there. We're good on the Spark of Life side of things. And Spark of Wrath. So, let's see. The Lightning Lash. Let's check this. Range, stunned. Okay. So tier 3. We're gonna skip a tier. And so Lightning Lash is a little bit stronger. The golem can cast lightning bolt. Yeah. Yep. Yep. And then let's get crazy with the capstone here. When the golem casts lightning bolt, it can include itself in the targets and auto hit itself. If it would take lightning damage, it gains shield HP equal to half the lightning damage it would have taken, gaining one more creature action as well. That's really cool. I'm happy with that. So we've got 4 good tracks here. And we've got 14 different talents, 8 of which are a traditional like talent track with a little split halfway. The other 6 of which open up a ridiculous number of options with the talents, lineages, and beasts from the core rulebook and from the creature compendium. I really like the way that shaped out. I think that's really fun. Big investment to get to a couple capstone-y kind of abilities, and then a smaller investment just to customize however you feel your golem should be. Yeah, I really like that. It needs playtesting. Like, I might, depending on if it's too strong, you can change it to expending half of its max HP or spending a third of its max HP. I'm just aware that it's also going to be in, like, the front lines getting hit a lot. I know I think most GMs are going to be really brutal on summoned creatures. That's cannon fodder, and so this thing is going to be taking a lot of damage. So I think that's a good basis for like a playtest start for this item, the Flesh Stitcher's Manual, which again was it was the one I was hoping for. I'm really glad that everyone voted for this one. I saw that it started like taking off. I got really excited about it. Bantha Poodoo to you, fodder. We've got a little time here. I'm gonna let's see about statting out the the monster, the base stats of the golem. Wait, actually, I think I haven't used this tool before. Is it gonna let me? Yeah, okay. Let's do that. That'll be easier. Just bear with me for a sec while I learn this technology. Whoa, new columns. Nice. All right, let's see. Strength. Dex. Con. End. Awareness, intelligence, charisma. 10 feet's max level for golem. Doodly, you're asking like how many total you're going to be able to take. With the artifact items here, you're going to take one every 3 levels. So if you get this book at level 1, then what is that? 3, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, 28, plus the one you get at level 1. Yeah, so 10 maximum. That's right. This item is likely to be picked up later on in the campaign, and so I'm not sure how many you're going to get when you first get it. There might be an exception where you get like 3 or 4 when you first pick up the book to compensate for like the backlog, but that depends on exactly how we end up writing the campaign. There we go. Okay. It's going to have a lower mental facilities and higher physical facilities. So it let's go ahead and add a that's so user friendly. I love that. It's really nice. That's less nice. I keep accidentally dragging it. Is there a way to merge? Yeah, look at that. Almost like this was designed to do exactly this. Okay, so we've got like some basic stats there. We'll come back to, oh yeah, let me just do this. This is not precisely the format that I would use to like actually write out a stat block. You know, the stats on the wiki are a lot closer to like the prototype that I use, but I'm just doing the best I can with the like mind mapping technology that I prefer. So it's not as like official looking as a full-on like Google Doc that's formatted and everything. X equals 2 plus the number. armor rating and hit points. Hit points, I'm trying to figure out how to do that because you want it to, yeah, exactly. You want it to be a little bit tanky. You also want to balance it out based on when you're picking this up. Would lightning shield HP stack? It resets. Shield HP doesn't stack on top of itself, so it's each most recent instance, or each instance you choose whichever one would give you more shield HP. So if you've got like 10 shield HP left and you would get 8, you can choose to not get the 8 and you would just keep the 10. No, that's 600 HP by the end of it. That we can't do that. Wait, no, it's not. It's 150. Never mind. My math is totally off there. 30 times 5. Yeah, 150. I'm okay with that. You're level 30. You can have a golem with 150 hit points. That's not crazy. Let's see what other. I think we don't need to give it very many base features. We do need to give it a base attack or two. Yeah, right. It's like it's tanky, but at the same time, it'll become a lot more tanky when you're able to use some of this affinity stuff to gain its own shield HP back. I don't know. We'll fiddle with that, but just to have something. Yeah, I think a slam attack is the base, like what it should start with, and then of course it can get like other natural weapon attacks. You can hand it a sword and tell it to go fight with a sword. All of that. Now that I want it to move, it's not moving. Come on. Nope. There we go. Yeah, grappling would be great. I mean, it can do any of the basic maneuvers, so it's auto able to grapple. All right, here we go. On the can I unbolt that? There we go. Now, I I think that's the hardest one to balance, because a monster that can do 2 attacks at level 1, if you pick this book up, is pretty powerful. Again, its damage output is going to be significantly less at a lower level, because it's going to have a lower strength modifier. I think it's a fine place for a draft. It's a little strong at low levels. It's a little weak at like level 21 plus, but levels 5 through 20, it's like really solid. It's also not meant to be like a boss monster the way like the Death Knight. Death Knight is a monster level 20 monster, and it attacks 5 times in a turn. So, yeah, this guy's meant to work in a party with a party, and is meant to be kind of strong, right? Because he's a magic creature. So, I think 2 actions is the right call there. So it can move, can make a slam attack. That's solid. I mean, it's not crazy. Forgot speed. Maybe no, I don't think it should be a little bit slow. The creature in the novel is pretty fast. Just organizationally, I'm gonna move these up here. Delete this row. Oh, can I not delete the row? Okay, whatever. Yeah, I mean that's a reasonable like starting stat block. It'll need to be tweaked a little bit as we go, but it's a good starting point. Other monsters that could be really fun, obviously like base stats of a zombie makes sense. That could be fun. Base stats of a Stitched could be really fun, but the Stitched is a monster level 7 creature, so that'd be the kind of option that you might get. If we decide to add more talents, maybe another animal improvement or another humanoid improvement is that you could choose to be like a zombie Hulk or a Stitched or one of those like slightly more powerful creatures. So regardless, I really like that setup of letting you physically flip through a book to figure out what you want to give it. That brings the gameplay into the roleplay in a really nice like synthesis. And I just really like this Promethean Spark track. I think that that the aggro side and the defensive side are both really fun and offer a really special playstyle. So yeah, that's the Flesh Stitcher's manual. The Timekeeper's Lance would have been really awesome, but I'm thrilled that we landed on this one. I still, having made it, I still think that it's my top choice. I'm glad that it's the one that was voted. Yeah, this book in physical form would be really cool. Don't ask questions about how we make it. Don't ask questions about intern Ted, but that'd be a fun send each of you a physical Flesh Stitcher's manual that looks like something out of The Evil Dead. Has all of these random inscriptions on it. Has entrail bookmarks. Yeah, it could be really fun. Well, amazing. I mean, that's it. I'll hang out. If any of you have questions about Veil of the Eternal Night or MythCraft in general, any playtest content we're doing, I'm happy to answer that for the next 10-15 minutes. We do have a a movie night coming up in 90 minutes in our Discord. That's the Homebrew Discord. So discord.gg/the Homebrew Network. Cody will be hosting that, and I don't know what we're watching tonight, but we'll find out soon. Maybe they haven't decided yet, haven't voted yet. And Playtest Till It Breaks is in chat. They're streaming tomorrow. I can't remember what time, but Playtest, please plug what time you're streaming tomorrow. Rime of the Frost Maiden, I believe. Another Everything Matters. I think so. I'm not involved. I mean, I've done a couple like voice lines for it. But yeah, I think the plan is to do more Everything Matters. Okay, awesome. So tomorrow noon Mountain Time. That'd be 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 Pacific. 7 p.m. GMT. Playtest Till It Breaks will be running Rime of the Frost Maiden, which is my favorite 5th edition campaign. So, unfortunately, that's the same time that I'm. I think that's awesome. That is the same time that I'm booting up one of my final dungeon crawls. So once again, I'm not going to be able to watch it this time, but we'll be dungeon crawling on this channel as well for one more weekend of Deep Ruin, where if you haven't seen MythCraft played, you can pop in and see a live play of MythCraft as well. So that'll be fun. Info that you can get on the Dinosaur Wars. Kings of Tyranny is the first campaign that I'm releasing that takes place in the Dinosaur Wars. My intention is to release multiple campaigns that showcase different areas of the prehistoric world during the Dinosaur Wars. But part 1 of Kings of Tyranny will be ready to playtest on March 13th, which coincidentally is my birthday, and I'm planning to run a stream of Dinosaur Wars of Kings of Tyranny on March 13th as part of like celebrating, like, look at this, I love dinosaurs. I'm really excited for the Dinosaur Wars for birthday dinos. Really excited for Kings of Tyranny. What I'll say, we're 3 weeks out from releasing it, but the open to Kings of Tyranny is a really unique, really brutal combat. A bunch of level 1 heroes against a level 18 monster? Something crazy. It's a special. It's not as impossible as it sounds, but it's meant to be bloody. I think it's a really, really cool like introduction to the campaign. Let's see, other questions. How does MythCraft differ from 5e in the sense of running the game? I'll answer that in just a second. Slowblind Child, is there a possibility that this would stretch out into a multiple setting world concept for MythCraft? Can you clarify? Do you mean like, when you say this, do you mean like developing MythCraft in general, or do you mean specifically the legacy artifacts that we're working on? Let me know and I'll answer that. But Crabtree, how does running the game differ in MythCraft versus in 5e? I am obviously biased, right? Like I'm the lead game designer for MythCraft, so I do have my biases. I think that from like the game master side, running MythCraft is easier in a couple ways, and it's harder in a couple ways. It's easier in that I think that the monster stat blocks are more intuitive to run. I find the layout generally a little bit easier to quickly find what I'm looking for. Maybe that's a me thing, I don't know, but that's just been my experience. Part of that is because like I helped have direct like oversight in how the layout of these stat blocks worked. At the same time, I've been running 5th edition stat blocks for many, many years. So, I mean, 5th edition has been out around 10 years now, right? So, I mean, I've been DMing it as long as it's been out. And I still forget to look for 5th edition, like, immunities, damage resistances, that kind of thing. Um, so, I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing, but I find the monster stat blocks easier to run. I find the monster action economy easier to run in MythCraft. Um, the kind of building blocks of you get to do 2 smaller things or 1 bigger thing. I find it easier to pick up and run from the MythCrafter perspective, from the game master perspective. What is more difficult is that MythCraft is so customizable that in 5th edition you already can't plan for everything your players are going to throw at you. In MythCraft, that's even more unwieldy just because of the amount of like custom combinations that they can come up with. Um, it's obviously still in its early life, right? MythCraft has been publicly released for less than 2 months, and it's been developed for less than a year. but um, but I think it's got really really solid bones, and so like there will be combinations that come up every now and then that end up breaking like a session. When that happens, let us know and we'll look at it and we'll figure it out. We're still refining parts of it. I mean, we've got on our wiki, we've got a huge errata that we're going to work on for when we reprint the books. So we're constantly tinkering, but I'm sorry, you didn't ask about the design. You asked about running the game. I think combat runs more smoothly in Mythcraft. I think it's easier to manage all of the monsters in Mythcraft, and it's easier to bring your players to the brink without feeling like a dick, because when they hit 0 hit points in D&D, they're out and they can't do anything except for roll death saves. In Mythcraft, they're able to stay up and keep fighting even at 0 hit points, and so you can really push them. And then if they don't retreat, like it's really their choice not to retreat. Um, yeah, so I mean that's kind of the breakdown of my thoughts on running Mythcraft versus running D&D. Death points, I think, action points and death points are 2 of the biggest like benefits to Mythcraft over D&D. Um, Let me catch up. Um, Vale in general, vibes of Ravenloft. Okay. Um, yeah, so D&D has exactly. It has Forgotten Realms. It has Ravenloft. It has Greyhawk. It has Dragonlance. It has Spelljammer. Um, I can't speak for the whole team. I personally have a lot of ideas for other settings, other expansions. There is a demi-plane that we're introducing in Veil of the Eternal Night called Shadowcroft. The Shadowcroft Arcanum is the tarot deck that Morgana uses. Um, Shadowcroft is a demi-plane of spooky, vampiric, Ravenloftian type ideas. I've been developing Shadowcroft as its own setting since 2018, 2019. Just on the slow burner. It's been like, I've been doing all of these other projects, and then kind of on the back burner, I've been working on Shadowcroft. So you'll, if nothing else, you'll see that in terms of like Ravenlofty, vampiric type things getting more development at some point. But I do have a lot of other ideas that I want to develop that are different world settings. That's a long-term project, right? I mean, we've got so much more of Githandia to explore, but yeah, we've I mean, if you've listened to or watched Sanity Damage, I would like to bring the world of Nera into like some kind of Mythcraft supplement or Mythcraft campaign at some point. So yeah, we've got a lot of ideas. It's a matter of time and um, work, like energy, making sure like everyone is able to write stuff and bring stuff to bear. Question for council NPCs: what kind of limitations are we to expect on the ideas? So I'm going to follow with special council. I'm going to follow the same protocol that I did for our first MythCraft special council, which was technically all that I commit to using is a name of an NPC or of an item, and you get to pick NPC or item. That said, and obviously, like, I'm not going to use something that's bigoted or like overtly sexual or something that would make it inappropriate to put into like a print campaign module that anyone could like take and run. But assuming it's like a normal like fantasy name, all I commit to using is the name of the NPC or the name of the item. That said, with the first Kickstarter, I also sent out a Google form that was like, tell me how you imagine this character, how you imagine this item, what abilities would you like to see it do, what role do you imagine this character having in the world, what's their personality. So I'll still send out something like that. You can fill out as much or as little as you want. It could be dark, broody, edgy character that gives them a clue. It could be I got a couple pages of backstory on one character. Obviously, when you give me something like dark, broody, edgy character, I'll take it and I'll expand it. When you give me 2 pages of backstory, I'll take it and I'll condense it. But in that process of the what I did for the first special council for like MythCraft proper, I ended up not turning down any ideas. So people submitted, sometimes they submitted like both a magic item and an NPC and said, hey, I've got these 2 ideas, but if you can only fit one in, take the NPC or take the item. So far, I've been able to take everything. So I hope to continue doing that. I can't promise that I'm going to continue doing that due to like more people finding it and there being like more and more ideas to try to use. But I do commit to using at least the name and as much of the idea that you throw at me as I reasonably can in the setting. For now, while we're still like at this level, I will also like personally reach out either through email or through Discord and like talk with you if you have an idea that just doesn't fit the campaign vibe at all. I'll reach out and we'll figure out something. We'll make that work. I've so far haven't had that happen. Like people have been in the right headspace for the campaigns they've submitted to. But yeah, hope that answers your question, Sean. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, so if you want to submit like actual stats for your character, for example, I didn't have anyone do that the first time. I did have people submit like an NPC, and they'd said like if this NPC were a player character, they'd be a witch, and they'd take what was it? I can't remember what track it was, but they take like a specific witch track, and so that helped me flesh out kind of their personality. Because they're NPCs, they're not going to have all the same stats as like the PCs. So I would say, you can throw as much at me as you want to. Just like, oh, that was you. It was the familiar track. Perfect. Yeah, throw throw as much at me as you want to, and that kind of that spirit. Just again, same with like designing these magic items in kind of a collaborative spirit. Understand like I may take stuff and change it to get it to fit the campaign, or I may take stuff and have to condense it or remove certain aspects of it to make everything fit. But yeah, I mean, as long as you have that understanding going in, you can send as much or as little as you want. I'll hang out for 2 more minutes if anyone else has any final questions. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up. Man, I want I want to use this flesh stitcher now. character. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, I just saw the characters and they fit together, and then yeah, the two of you that submitted them were friends in real life. Yeah, that's really fun. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Thank you for helping me create this really exciting, really awesome magic item here. Yeah. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Slowblind. Thank you, Crabtree Playtest. David one. Uh, if the stretch goal isn't hit for the Legends book, will it ever be released later? Legends Volume 2 will be released at some point for sure. It may not have Veil of the Eternal Night themed characters in it, depending on when Legends Volume 2 is released, and if it's released with another Kickstarter, that'll affect the content that's in it. But I do have every intention of continuing Legends of MythCraft releases. You know, eventually maybe like an annual or biannual or even quarterly like zine. Yeah, it just depends on what when it releases will affect what characters are included in it. Thank you, Slowblind. I mean, I used to write for DM's Guild, and so after January of last year, I was like, yeah, it can be done better. And you know, I'm grateful that Grant and Andy and Jake and everyone else involved, and of course the fan community is all like in agreement about that, right? Like, there is a different way that is not Watsy's way, and yeah, the mages of the beach, we can do better. Well, again, thank you everyone. Really appreciate all of you hanging out. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream now, but again, you've got options tomorrow. Pop in and say hi to the whole playtest till it breaks crew. Hop in and say hi to me and my crew. We're going live at the same time, so you know, bounce back and forth or pick one and watch whatever you want to do there. Yeah, and we'll see you all next time.